It's always a pleasure to be here. And I say it with my heart. I've been to this place very often, and every time I come here and I meet people, I really feel good about it. I'm an engineer turned into psychologist. Yeah, so I think that's pretty heartening for some people here, that you can actually do something beyond engineering too. Why did I do that? I did that because I realized that my dream was somewhere else. And my journey started with the first sentence of Gautam Buddha, and he said, Apo Dipo Bhava, be a light unto yourself. And when I read that sentence, I thought the world was different from what we perceive it to be. Apo Dipo Bhava became my entire insight of life, and that started my journey into behavioral sciences, like I said. But the word light became very important for me, because light is awareness. And I think all of us here, sitting in this room, if we actually become aware of what is it that we want to do in life, we've actually started our first journey into authentic leadership. I'm going to talk about authentic leadership. There's a huge work, there's a complete research that's currently going on in the area of authentic leadership. And the world actually lacks authentic leadership. I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes with you attempting to describe to you what is it that the authentic leaders do. And where does this information come from? I've had the fortune of meeting the most remarkable men all over the world, and women too. And I enjoyed working with both those men and women. And as a behavioral scientist, when I was analyzing their behaviors, because I primarily work with behaviors of people, I realized that they demonstrated certain specific behaviors which made them what they are today. And you know what I found? I found them to be uniquely original. Now, if you go into the dictionary, you will realize that the word unique and original is quite synonymous in its own way, but it is not when it comes to behavior. So when we talk about unique, we actually say, you are actually doing what you're born to do. Because everybody here is born absolutely unique. And because you're born unique, you have unique talents, you have unique strengths, you have unique potentials. And you have to be original. The unfortunate problem today in our system, in our society, is that we fail to be original. And what does originality mean? We are all here with our own innate passions, and we have to discover that. So authentic leadership starts with the word passion. In fact, a lot of times when people get into passion, passion seems to be the end of the story of life, but authenticity actually starts with the whole element of passion. While I was talking to these remarkable people, and when I was trying to find out what is it that passion meant for them, it was a very interesting answer they gave me. They said, anything that you would want to do for free and would still rejuvenate you end of the day, and you would have a great sleep, that's what passion is. Unfortunately, when people come to me, when they come to my organization, they give me a story of passion. I think 100% of the people who come to my organization for an interview, they tell me, you know what, we have the passion of grooming people. And I said, yep, let's prove it. I said, I offer you half the salary. And you know what, the passion just dies instantly. I think my message to all of you here is, if you're truly passionate about something, don't go after money. Money is a byproduct. It's going to come to you in any case. Everybody makes money. It's so easy to make money, but it's so difficult to follow passion. Because I realized in this whole journey, there are three types of people on this planet. First, who didn't know anything about their passion. Fantastic. They walked the planet and they left. Nobody knew them. They just came, they just went, right? But I feel sad for the second set of people who knew what their passion was, but blamed the entire system and the society for not having implemented that passion. And you know what? You have so many of them available. But there are those third people, and all of those who are engineers here interested in the bell curve, sigma plus 3% people on this planet, who know what their passion is, and they actually practice their passion, they give velocity to their passion. Passion is your starting point of authentic leadership, but it's just a starting point. Now, what do you do after this passion? What do you do after discovering this passion? A lot of people ask me, is it easy to discover the passion? And I tell them, yes, it is absolutely easy, because you're born with that blueprint. All you have to do is sit down alone and ask yourself this question, what's that one thing that I would like to do for free? And you know what? Your heart tells you that. So authentic leadership is all about going with your feelings. Unfortunately, the entire life, we are taught how to use and go with our mind. And our mind takes into the classic Shakespearean cliche, to be or not to be. We always live in the dilemma. And this dilemma can only be handled with when you go with your feelings. You know what? There are labs happening all over the world to make people understand what it is to feel because we've forgotten what it is to feel. It happened to me when I became an engineer. I forgot to feel. I went into a lab to activate my feelings. Can you believe this? I went to a lab to activate my feelings, and it actually got activated. So today, I lead my life through feelings. Do I go by rationale? Yeah, I do. What do? I apply rationale to my feelings. So if I feel like doing something, I immediately get down to my statistical calculations. I'll go to Google Trend. I'll see, okay, what I feel, what are the trends happening on Google today, and we're done. So passion, feelings. The next part about authentic leadership, and I'm going to come very soon. Why am I talking about authentic leadership? The next part about authentic leadership is you have to now decide what's important to you, because unfortunately, people want to practice their passions, but they have a wrong list of what is important for them in life. Because when you know what you want in life, and when you structure your values around it, when you're absolutely clear that's what is important to you, passion suddenly becomes a huge gratification for you. And I think people who made it in life, I think all the remarkable people that I met in life, not only were they passionate about what they did, but they actually had created an entire value system within themselves, and they had decided what is it that's important for them. Money can be important for you, family can be important for you, but get that list in place. And therefore, because of the passion and because of the values, authentic leaders actually start becoming absolutely clear about what they want to do in life. What comes next? What I saw in these people was there was a perennial quest of personal mastery. There's no point being only passionate about what you want to do. You actually need to invest in constant development. Because the problem with passion is the moment you start demonstrating passion, you get hungry and you want to keep doing new things. And when you want to do new things, you have to fire neurons. Now, interestingly, authentic leadership also gets into the whole dimension of brain. You know what? We are born with trillions of neurons and we die only having used a few million. We die with fresh brains. You know? Yeah, I mean, we find our curriculum to be extremely difficult, but you know what? You hardly fired any neurons here. A lot of times, entrepreneurs come to me and they tell me, you know, coach, I think I've done enough in life. I said, no, you haven't, because you've just fired a few millions. The trillions yet to be fired, right? And there's no count in terms of the neurons. So how do neurons get fired? You got the passion, you got the values built in, you're constantly educating yourself, you're honing up your skills, and then you're attempting to do something new in life. And when you start attempting new things in life, you start firing neurons. And the best thing about neurons is all the neurons that work together, they fire together constantly. The converse is also true. All the neurons that fire together work together. That means what? For the first 20 hours of any work, you feel like an idiot because you haven't done that before. But after 20 hours, when you fired enough of neurons, and this is research, by the way, I don't quote numbers just off the cuff. After 20 hours or so, you become comfortable. So whether you are in college, university, or you're at work, first 20 hours, any new activity is going to drain you off. You're going to feel it's not going to work for you. But then the neurons start firing. And the moment the neurons start firing, you become comfortable with the activity. So the next thing that I saw in authentic leadership was that all the people that I met, they constantly fired new neurons. And that was the best part of it. I mean, when they opened up Einstein's brain, they said that the brain was very well developed, and both the right side and the left side, fair enough, that's the research that goes, no qualms about it. But why can't we do that ourselves? So, what are we talking about in authentic leadership? Passion, we structure our values, and after that, we start moving into a personal mastery where we are constantly upgrading ourselves. Now, why do we need to do that? We need to do that because all of us are today living in a very interesting time, and it's called VUCA, V-U-C-A. I'm conducting a research right now on VUCA that's going to be my part of thesis. V stands for volatility. We live in an environment which is extremely volatile, which means all the variables that we're dealing with right now, they will cease to exist anytime. Uncertain. We don't know when they will be uncertainly non-existent. I don't know when they will die off. I don't know for how long they will exist. Complex. We just don't know what the behavior is all about. Sometimes they'll be activated, sometimes they'll not be activated. And the last thing, there is no correlation, which means what? All of you sitting in this room here, you don't know what's coming tomorrow. But you know what? All of us sitting here are sitting here with an idea. We know what's coming tomorrow. You so happily tell your friend, you know what? I'll see you tomorrow 9 o'clock. In the world of VUCA, you can't make this statement, I'll see you tomorrow 9 o'clock, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow 9 o'clock, because technology is also doing a lot of stuff in this whole world of VUCA. So, while I was conducting this research, I realized that if there are people who will withstand the pressure of VUCA, they're going to be authentic leaders. Authentic leaders not only demonstrate their passion, not only upgrade themselves, but they are morally and ethically extremely strong. And I think that's where things are going horribly wrong today. Because all intelligent people are highly deceptive. If you look at your own self, if you look at your friends, and if they're extremely intelligent, and if the value system is corrupt, you will realize they'll come up with some amazing stories, and they feel so correct. So what happens here is that if you want to be an authentic leader, you will have to align yourself with the universal principles, and the universal principle is the theory of cause and effect. Whatever your behavior, it is going to create an output for you. So if you want to be authentic, keep looking at your behaviors, keep auditing your behaviors. And if your behaviors are right, you're successful. Which means what? In this room, all those people who are successful and call themselves successful, they are because of the behaviors. And all those people who are having nightmares every night, I am not where I am. You know what? Your behaviors aren't right. And the best thing to do is modify the behaviors, and the easiest thing to do in life is to actually modify behaviors. I've been in the process of the journey of behavioral modifications for the last 19 years. And I've found that the easiest thing to do in life is to modify behaviors. So conscientiousness is a very crucial element when it comes to authentic leadership. I don't want to drag this conversation too much, because there's so much to say when it comes to authentic leadership. But one thing is for sure, if you want to live in the world of VUCA, and if you really want to be successful in your life, you will have to now move into a world of authentic leadership, because technology is going to expose everybody. Any wrong that any person does anywhere on this planet, you're going to soon find it on the Facebook and in the LinkedIn. And once the credibility is lost, it's lost forever. It's so easy to build credibility, but to reconstruct the credibility, you're going to have a lot of trouble. Authentic leadership is the only thing that's going to bail you out in this world of VUCA. A lot of you in this room are young people. And for a lot of you here in this room, you will think that this talk is too philosophical in nature. Actually not. This is what industry is wanting to do. And all of you here who are going to be seeking jobs, whether you're professionals, whether you're students, the first thing that the person is going to look for in you is, are you an authentic person? They're going to hire you not for your skills. They're not going to hire you for your experiences. They're going to hire your authenticity. All of you here who want to be entrepreneurs, you will be entrepreneurs. People will invest in you only when they see that you're authentic. I'm going to end my talk with summarizing then what is authentic leadership all about. A, discover your passion. Don't walk the planet like a useless person. The planet didn't know why you came, and you also didn't know why you came. Yeah, that's very crucial. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, I was like that. Probably when I went to college, I didn't know why I was attending lectures. Some professors are here, they witness to what I'm saying. You can validate it, right? But I think the day I realized that there's something meaningful to be done, you're done. So find your passion, give your passion a sense of purpose by giving it a velocity. How do you give it a velocity? You give it a velocity by checking what your strengths are, by aligning your value system, and you constantly educate yourself so that you remain relevant in this world. After having done that, don't ever forget that what's going to bail you out of any situation is your ethics. And intelligent people are the first set of people to compromise on ethics, because the mind works brilliantly and they can come up with some very creative ways of deception. Be ethical. And the last thing that you always have to remember is your behaviors are going to create your success. Look at it, study all the people who've done well for themselves in their life, emulate their behaviors, combine their behaviors with your passion. If they're going to work for you, great. If they're not going to work for you, don't take those behaviors. And I think that's where I'm going to end my conversation. Thank you very much for inviting me over. And I hope you enjoy this entire journey of life. Life is a great adventure. If you lead it with authenticity, you're going to have a lot more pleasure in life, right? Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again sometime. Bye-bye. See you.